Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by Tom Patton from the Dynamics AX R&D team. Tom, thanks for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
Why don't you start out and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do on the team, and we'll get into what we're going to talk about.
Sure. I've been at Microsoft here for about 9 years now, the last 5 of which is with the Microsoft Dynamics AX team. And my first few years here was working with our partners and customers, sort of understanding their requirements more and helping them adopt our next version of Dynamics AX, which was Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009. And then I've transitioned into the role for this release, AX 2012, of working on the interoperability between Microsoft Office and Microsoft Dynamics AX.
So with this interoperability and these two products talking to each other, obviously with tens of millions and hundreds of millions of licenses of Office out there, and Office 2010 being one of the fastest growing products literally in Microsoft history, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered in terms of plugging into the Office and taking advantage of some of the cool features and functionality throughout that platform?
Well, there's kind of some innate challenges in terms of marrying together these two types of technologies. One is more structured, really focused on guiding people through a prescribed business process. That's the Microsoft Dynamics AX side. And you're kind of out in the wild, wild west with Microsoft Office. It's really geared towards personal productivity. So crossing that bridge and making sure that we're ensuring that we have the right security context for users who are in their productivity tools, making sure they see only the data that they're prescribed to see, making sure that any edits that they make to those data within those tools as they're sent back into the world of Dynamics AX, that the proper audit trails are in place, and making sure that we're getting the best out of both of those worlds, I think, has been some of the challenges.
And how's the cooperation been with the Office team? How have you guys kind of worked together?
It's been great in terms of not just the Office team, but also the Visual Studio Tools for Office team that helps us bridge the gap between the surface of the document that you see and the tools that we need in order to get to the data and shuttle this back and forth between these two environments. So it's been collaboration across Office, Visual Studio, and Dynamics.
And I think that seems to be a hallmark of this entire development cycle. As we talk to lots of people, in the course of these videos, the cooperation across the entire platform has probably been the best ever. Is this kind of the feedback?
Sure. There's lots of touch points out into various Microsoft stack technologies, and of course that's been an important part of this release.
So if I'm a non-technical person, which I happen to be, and I use Office every day, it's where I spend a lot of my time in terms of communicating with people and sending information and analyzing information. What am I going to be looking for in Dynamics AX 2012 that's going to be interesting to me as more of a business decision maker type person?
Sure. I think there's 3 areas where we've really made some strides in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. The first is in just giving you access to data in a tool that you're familiar with. So if you're sitting in the application and you see some information on the screen and you want to export that into Microsoft Excel, enhance that with additional information that wasn't presently there, and as business conditions change, refresh that information so you don't need to repeat those tasks every time you want to get a good view. Having that easy access in a familiar tool to information is sort of the first area. The second one is really enabling us to build documents that include business data from Microsoft Dynamics AX. So for example, if you're writing a project proposal, or if you have a customer statement and you want to author that in a familiar authoring environment like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, we provide those capabilities as well. And then the third one really comes to bear for people who are looking forward, planning, editing data, where they want to be able to find that information, bulk search and replace, fill down, copy, chart, all this sort of stuff along the way as they formulate their forward-looking budgets or as they enter financial transactions. They want to use those productivity enhancements in Excel and still get that data where it needs to live in Microsoft Dynamics AX.
And I think that last one's a really interesting point, because a lot of people don't necessarily think of ERP as something that they interact with on a regular basis, just very sporadically. But actually, when you're doing a lot of this work, what you guys have actually accomplished is marrying these two kind of environments together. So the ubiquity of the data passing through to the Office environment is something that I think people will really get the benefit of, and they might not even know they're accessing ERP in some cases, right?
That's right. And and the other side of that coin is that we're not compromising on the security or the access rights that each individual person has. Yep.
So I think you're going to show us a demo of that last scenario scenario then on how you can actually work with these two environments.
Let's take a look here at this form, which is a form that an administrator of a budget might be using to formulate an upcoming budget period. And as you can see, there's a lot of entries here. There's a lot of entries. Each one has got a lot of information on it. So I might look at a particular entry and see the details down here. I've got several different allocations of money for different time periods. And my objective here is to sort of step back from this and see what does this look like in aggregate, and then make some adjustments. So as the budget manager here, I've used this tool to begin building a template that's going to do just that. So what you'll see here is there's a Dynamics AX tab right in the ribbon interface of Microsoft Excel, and this gives me access in a secure fashion to all of the information that I can access and include in my spreadsheet here. And if I open up this field chooser, you'll see the structure of this document here, all of the fields, all of the financial dimensions, all of the information that constitute my budget entries. And all I need to do in order to adjust or build up this template is to just drag and drop. Let's say I want to include the budget code, whether it's an adjustment or an original entry.
Sure.
In here I can just bring this out and drag it in, and when I refresh my data here, I get all that information into the spreadsheet in one time. Now I can, of course, at this point use standard Excel features to chart or sort or filter or manipulate this data. Now, this is still a little overwhelming. I mean, I've got a big, long list of transactions. I can easily change these data here and chart it, but really what I want to present my users who are filling out their budget numbers is something a little more simple. And I've started building that up here as well, where you can see just the account name and the total amount that's allocated for each of these. And this is fairly easy to build up as well, just returning to the field chooser here. I've got my original budget amount, and I can enhance that by adding the adjustments that I'm working on. I can further put in, say, an Excel formula that just lets me leverage my skills in Excel to say this is simply the adjustment plus the original amount, and that's going to be my total. And then as I refresh this, I can see in aggregate all of my information, my original entries here, my adjustments here, and the new totals that I've got. And that goes a long way to help people understand, hey, what are the latest numbers?
Yeah.
Where am I at? How big are my adjustments relative to my original budgets?
Sure.
But the real challenge here is what happens next is, oops, we need to make a change here. We need to change some amount on this worksheet. And that's where we've really added some interesting value in here, to where if I look at this equipment lease, I've got a $1,000 adjustment that's coming for my next period. If I look at this back in Dynamics AX and filter this down to just my equipment lease, you can see that that's actually spread across a number of periods here. I've got a $200 allocation for each upcoming month. If I change this here to be $1,200, for instance, that's great. Typically I would hand this off to my administrative assistant and have them sort of type this in and
assume it gets somewhere.
Make sure that gets in there so our budget can actually be operationalized. But here we can just push this publish data button, and that's going to securely transmit those adjustments that I'm making in the office world back to Dynamics AX, where you'll see now I've got a $240 adjustment that's been split across those periods.
There's an incredible degree of agility in just this scenario that you're laying out, because people are always doing what ifs, people are always modeling, people have different business situations that come up, and what you're showing here and seeing again as an ex-finance person even is beautiful, just in terms of being able to do different models that I don't have to learn ERP. I just have to know how to slice and dice in Excel a bit, which every finance person is going to know how to do.
Sure.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks a lot for the demo, Tom, and we're looking forward to the release of the product this fall. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.